Japanese on Repeat, an AI assisted personal study guide for learning Japanese, built to help it stick. Welcome back to Japanese on Repeat. I'm building these episodes as study guides for myself, and I'm so glad you're here learning alongside me. This episode is longer and has more generative speech because it takes a long time to record, and to be honest, I don't like hearing my own voice. But I went over all the text and I created this to help me better understand the parts of this I'm struggling with. Before we dive into today's new content, let's do something really important for our brains. Let's try to remember some words from our last episode.
Do you remember the Japanese word for school? Take a moment.
学校学校
School. How about classroom? Take a moment.
教室教室
Classroom. One more. Do you remember the word for office? Take a moment.
事務室事務室
If those didn't come to you right away, that's completely normal. That struggle to remember? That's actually when the learning is happening. Your brain is building stronger connections every time you reach for the answer. Some of you might have remembered them easily. That's great too. But if you didn't, you're not falling behind. You're learning exactly the way brains are designed to learn. Today we're going to talk about things that exist in places, objects you might find in a park or a yard. We'll learn 5 new words, and we'll take it slow.
公園
Park.
公園
A park. A public place with trees and space to relax.
庭
Yard or garden.
庭
Your yard or garden at home.
花
Flower.
花
A flower. We'll look at this kanji more closely in just a moment. On to the next word.
石
Stone or rock.
石
Ishi. A stone or rock. Now here's where Japanese gets interesting. You can connect nouns with
と
to list things. Let me show you. Flower and stone.
花と石花と石
Flowers and stones. Book and bag.
本とカバン本とカバン
Book and bag. Schools and libraries.
学校と図書館学校と図書館
This is the same.
と
You'll use all the time. It just means and. Let's spend a moment with the kanji for flower.
花
This character tells a beautiful little story. At the top, you see what looks like grass or plants growing upward. Below that, you see a person crouching down, looking at something closely. Picture this. You're walking through a garden, and you crouch down to look at a beautiful flower. You're bending close to appreciate it, maybe to smell it. The grass above, the person below, admiring what's growing. That's
花
flower. You don't need to write it. Just picture someone crouching down to admire a flower. That image will help the word stick. Now let's talk about how to show who owns what. The
の
particle is tiny, but it's incredibly useful. It shows possession. Who owns what? It works like apostrophe s in English, Tanaka's book, or my computer.
田中さんの本
Tanaka's book. Tanaka.
の
Book.
田中さんの本私のパソコン
My computer.
私のパソコン
Here's something elegant about Japanese. If everyone knows what object you're talking about, you can drop the noun entirely and just end with
のです。これは私のです。
this is mine. Literally, this is my one.
これは私のです。それは鈴木さんのです。
That is Suzuki's.
それは鈴木さんのです。
The
です。
means is, and
の
stands in for the thing you're talking about. Now let's learn how to say that something exists somewhere. We need two particles
に
to mark the location and
が
with
あります。
for the thing that exists. This pattern only works for non-living things, objects like books, clocks, stones, flowers, things that don't move on their own.
庭に花があります。
There are flowers in the yard.
庭に花があります。公園に石があります。
There are stones in the park.
公園に石があります。
Let's try one with R.
と
Particle. Combining two things.
庭に花と石があります。
There are flowers and stones in the yard.
庭に花と石があります。
For the negative, instead of
あります。
you say
ありません。
does not exist.
庭に石がありません。
There are no stones in the yard.
庭に石がありません。
We're also going to start hearing some question words in our sentences. You don't need to master these today. Just start noticing them. First is where.
どこ？図書館はどこですか？
Where is the library?
図書館はどこですか？
Next is what.
何？庭に何がありますか？
What is in the yard?
庭に何がありますか？
Next is who or whose.
誰？これは誰のですか？
Whose is this?
これは誰のですか？
And which one?
どれ？鈴木さんの本はどれですか？
Which one is Suzuki's book?
鈴木さんの本はどれですか？
These question words,
どこ？何？誰？どれ？
they're going to show up in our practice sentences. Don't worry about memorizing them right now. Just hear them in context and notice how they work. Now let's practice some sentences. I'll give you the English first, then you'll hear the Japanese. Just listen. There's no pressure to repeat out loud, but if you want to, go ahead. The library is there.
図書館はそこです。図書館はそこです。
Is this place the meeting room?
ここは会議室ですか？ここは会議室ですか？
This place is not the library.
ここは図書館ではありません。ここは図書館ではありません。
The school is over there.
学校はあそこです。
Where is the bank?
銀行はどこですか？銀行はどこですか？
The department store is here.
デパートはここです。デパートはここです。
Whose dictionary is that over there?
あれは誰の辞書ですか？
That over there, whose dictionary is it?
あれは誰の辞書ですか？
This bag is Suzuki's.
このカバンは鈴木さんのです。
This bag is Suzuki's.
このカバンは鈴木さんのです。
That over there is Tanaka's.
あれは田中さんのです。
That over there, Tanaka, is.
あれは田中さんのです。
This is mine.
これは私のです。これは私のです。
There is a stone in the yard.
庭に石があります。
Yard, stone, exists.
庭に石があります。
There are flowers and stones in the yard.
庭に花と石があります。
Yard, ni, flowers and stones, ga, exist.
庭に花と石があります。
There are English newspapers over there.
あそこに英語の新聞があります。
Over there, English, no, newspaper, ga, exists.
あそこに英語の新聞があります。
There is an umbrella in this room.
この部屋に傘があります。
This room, ni, umbrella, ga, exists.
この部屋に傘があります。
There is no TV in the room.
部屋にテレビがありません。
Room, ni, TV, ga, does not exist.
部屋にテレビがありません。
What is in the park?
公園に何がありますか？
Park, ni, what, ga, exists, question.
公園に何がありますか？
Which is my computer?
私のパソコンはどれですか？
My computer, wa, which one, is, question.
私のパソコンはどれですか？
What is in the room?
部屋に何がありますか？
Room.
に
What,
が
exists, question.
部屋に何がありますか？
Let's pause and see what's sticking. Don't worry if you need to hear the answer. That's completely part of the process. How do you say park?
公園
Cohen Park. What's the particle that means and when connecting nouns?
と
And how do you say there are flowers in the yard?
庭に花があります。
Yard.
に
Flowers.
が
Exists. If you got those, excellent. If you didn't, that's also excellent, because now you've heard them again, and that repetition is exactly what builds memory. Let's hear these patterns in a short conversation. Tomoko is asking Takuma about what's in different places.
公園に何がありますか？
What is in the park?
公園に花と石があります。
There are flowers and stones in the park.
庭にも花がありますか？
Are there also flowers in the yard?
はい、庭にも花があります。
Yes, there are also flowers in the yard.
あの花は誰のですか？
Whose are those flowers over there?
あの花は鈴木さんのです。
Those flowers over there are Suzuki's.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome. Notice how naturally all these patterns work together. Tomoko asked what exists using
に
and
があります。
she used
も
to say also. Before we finish, let's do one final gentle check. The word for flower, the one with someone crouching down to admire it.
花
Hana, flower. How do you say yard or garden?
庭
Niwa, yard. What particle shows possession? Like my or Tanaka's?
の
Dot possessive.
So just remember, you don't need to have all of this perfect today. Learning happens in layers. Every time you listen, every time you reach for a word, you're strengthening the connections in your brain. So just keep going. Be patient, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is Japanese on Repeat.